What you are about to watch is the Prime Minister of Israel speaking to the United Nations General Assembly, and the things he says is prophetic. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. Your mind is about to be blown. Well, guys, we've got a great video planned for you today, and I am really excited to be able to do this because if you're watching this at the time that it's being released, it is literally less than 24 hours since Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, actually addressed the United Nations General Assembly. It's the 78th session going into debate, where he actually delivers remarks concerning Israel, the peace process, and many other things. Now, I am going to take some big chunks of this address so that you can listen to it, and then I'm going to stop and offer some commentary. Now, here's the thing that I want you guys to grasp when you're listening to him. We are watching the fulfillment of Bible prophecy, and I'm going to tell you this right now, it's going to absolutely blow your mind. So listen to some of the things that he says. I'm going to walk you through some of the more significant areas that I think are important to kind of get you thinking about the prophetic aspect of all of this. And I think it's going to be a real treat because you are going to continue to understand how to connect the dots with the things that are going on geopolitically in the Middle East. And what he says here is pretty remarkable. So let's take a listen as he offers his opening remarks, and then we'll get into some of the details of the things that he says. And I think you guys are in for a real treat as you watch this. So let's do it.
Over 3 millennia ago, our great leader Moses addressed the people of Israel as they were about to enter the promised land. He said they would find there two mountains facing one another. Mount Gerizim, the site on which a great blessing would be proclaimed, and Mount Ebal, the site of a great curse. Moses said that the people's fate would be determined by the choice they made between the blessing and the curse. That same choice has echoed down the ages, not just for the people of Israel, but for all humanity. We face such a choice today. It will determine whether we enjoy the blessings of a historic peace, of boundless prosperity and hope, or suffer the curse of a horrific war, of terrorism and despair. When I last spoke at this podium 5 years ago, I warned about the tyrants of Tehran. They've been nothing but a curse to their own people, to our region, to the entire world. But at that time, I also spoke about a great blessing that I could see on the horizon. Here's what I said, quote, "The common thread of Iran has brought Israel and many Arab states closer than ever before in a friendship that I have not seen in my lifetime." I said the day would soon arrive when Israel would be able to expand peace beyond Egypt and Jordan to other Arab neighbors, end quote. Now, in countless meetings with world leaders, I made the case that Israel and the Arab states shared many common interests, and that I believed that these many common interests could facilitate a breakthrough for a broader peace in our region. Thank you. Well, you applaud now, but at the time, many dismissed my optimism as wishful thinking. Their pessimism was based on a quarter century of good intentions and failed peacemaking. And why was this? Why were these good intentions? Why did they always meet failure? Because they were based on one false idea, that unless we first concluded a peace agreement with the Palestinians, no other Arab state would normalize its relations with Israel. I've long sought to make peace with the Palestinians, but I also believe that we must not give the Palestinians a veto over new peace treaties with Arab states. The Palestinians could greatly benefit from a broader peace. They should be part of that process, but they should not have a veto over the process. And I also believe that making peace with more Arab states would actually increase the prospects of making peace between Israel and the Palestinians. See, the Palestinians are only 2% of the Arab world. As long as they believe that the other 90% will remain in a warlike state with Israel, that larger mass, that larger Arab world could eventually choke, dissolve, and destroy the Jewish state. So when the Palestinians see that most of the Arab world has reconciled itself to the Jewish state, they too will be more likely to abandon the fantasy of destroying Israel and finally embrace a path of genuine peace with it.
Okay, this is remarkable, folks. And I think this is important to point this out because we're going to skip ahead a little bit because what he says here is amazing. What he's actually saying is something that you would have never expected to hear until actually now. He is basically telling us, and he's correct, that an overwhelming majority of the Arab world is seeking peace with Israel. Now, why is that significant? It's significant because when you crack open Ezekiel 38 talks about this. The whole idea before Israel is attacked is they're going to be in complete security. Their economic security, the fact that they're having unfenced cities. Look, this is all something that is formulating in a way that is remarkable. And it's just astounding when you think about it because this is something that we should expect to be seeing. And I want you to notice that when he actually mentioned the idea of what he had spoken about 5 years prior at the General Assembly versus what he's talking about right now, they actually clapped for him this time and they weren't clapping before. That was spurred on by what I believe was the representative from Lebanon that had actually clapped, and then that section started clapping, and then it kind of grew from there. So this is interesting to see what's actually taking place and the uniqueness that exists regarding the facts that surround all of this. It's astounding. This is Bible prophecy at its finest. We're not only watching Israel come to life as the nation that God said it would, but the whole idea of this peace being established is something we're seeing more and more of. So we're going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit because there's another section that I want you to see, and then we'll go from there.
The approach that I advocated, we tried something different. And in no time, we achieved an amazing breakthrough. We achieved 4 peace treaties working with the United States. Israel forged 4 peace treaties in 4 months with 4 Arab countries: the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco.
By the way, the whole idea behind the UAE being the first one, and then Bahrain coming in, Morocco, Sudan, especially with Sahara, as it relates to Morocco, is something that is just absolutely unprecedented. It's unbelievable. But it goes to the geopolitical dynamic that's going to have to exist when we begin to see the formulation of all that has to happen for Ezekiel 38. It's pretty remarkable. Remember, there will be nations that will object to Israel attacking, and many of them are going to be Arab nations, particularly Saudi Arabia, because we're going to Saudi Arabia here soon, and he's going to address that. Let me continue on with what he says here.
The Abraham Accords were a pivot of history, and today we all see the blessings of those accords. Trade and investment with our new peace partners are booming. Our nations cooperate in commerce, energy, water, agriculture, medicine, climate, and many, many other fields. Close to 1 million Israelis have visited the United Arab Emirates in the past 3 years. Every day, Israelis save time and money by doing something they couldn't do for 70 years. They fly over the Arabian Peninsula to destinations in the Gulf, India, the Far East, Australia. The Abraham Accords ushered in another dramatic change. It brought Arabs and Jews closer together. We see it in the frequent Jewish weddings in Dubai, in the dedication of a Torah school in a synagogue in Bahrain, in the visitors flocking to the Museum of Moroccan Judaism in Casablanca. We see it in lessons that are given to Arab students about the Holocaust in the UAE. There's no question. The Abraham Accords heralded the dawn of a new age of peace.
The dawn of a new age of peace. Pay attention to that, folks. The dawn of a new age of peace. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Folks, look, what you're about to now see is going to be mind-boggling, because we're going to skip forward to the portion where he picks up a map and he begins to draw something out. And if this does not just mind-boggle you, I honestly don't know what will. This is remarkable. Okay, so we'll skip over to that. We'll take a look at this and get ready. Get ready to have your mind blown. Here it is. And let me add, Saudi Arabia. Come on. This is amazing. This is incredible stuff.
But today, as we tear down the walls of enmity, Israel can become a bridge of peace and prosperity between these continents. Peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia will truly create a new Middle East.
A new Middle East, folks. A new Middle East. It's astounding. A new Middle East. Okay, let's continue on.
To understand the magnitude of the transformation that we seek to advance, let me show you a map of the Middle East in 1948, the year Israel was established. Here's Israel in 1948. It's a tiny country, isolated, surrounded by a hostile Arab world. In our first 70 years, we made peace with Egypt and Jordan, and then in 2020, we made the Abraham Accords, peace with another 4 Arab states. Now look at what happens when we make peace between Saudi Arabia and Israel. The whole Middle East changes. We tear down the walls of enmity. We bring the possibility of prosperity and peace to this entire region, but we do something else. You know, a few years ago, I stood here with a red marker to show the curse, a great curse, the curse of a nuclear Iran. But today I bring this marker to show a great blessing, the blessing of a new Middle East between Israel, Saudi Arabia, and our other neighbors. We will not only bring down barriers between Israel and our neighbors, we'll build a new corridor of peace and prosperity that connects Asia through the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, to Europe. This is an extraordinary change, a monumental change, another pivot of history.
I want you to go back and take a look at the map. We'll go back and zoom on that map. And I want you to notice how it shows this corridor. First of all, he talks about, in essence, what the Bible says will be unfenced cities. That's in essence what he's talking about. But I want you to see the connection that he is making to Europe. The geopolitical implications of that with Russia alone is absolutely unbelievable. Because when that happens, the economic prosperity that takes place with Israel will be so substantial that Russia will want a piece of that action, folks. And what we are seeing, what we are witnessing, is so unbelievably historic. He is drawing this line to show what actually will happen under his plan, and people are applauding for it. I want you guys to understand how significant this is. We are looking at the peace conditions necessary in order to open up the doors for what will be Ezekiel 38. This is huge. The Bible told us we would see something like this happen. I want to do this. I want to end this video by you hearing the last few minutes of Netanyahu's speech. And when you hear it again, it goes back to the same issue that we have been talking about from the beginning. It deals with a different attitude, a different mindset, a different thought process, a different philosophy for what happens in the Middle East today and what's actually going on and how rapidly things can change and how rapidly they actually will change. It's mind-boggling, folks. It is absolutely mind-boggling. So let's watch this. Again, I don't know how many times I can say it's mind-boggling, but it is. Oh, yeah. And by the way, take a listen to what he addresses in the end as he deals with the subject of AI. Remember, what we read in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, I think AI is going to have a lot to do with it. Don't think for a second that AI is going to be the Antichrist. The Antichrist is a person. We know that. But the tools that he will utilize to enforce his totalitarian rule is going to happen. And you need to listen to what he says here because, again, we're setting up the ground for it. Pretty amazing. But take a listen to the final portion of his address. It's roughly about 4 minutes, actually. Let's take a listen.
The world's leading nations, however competitive, must address these dangers. We must do so quickly, and we must do so together. We must ensure that the promise of an AI utopia does not turn into an AI dystopia. We have so much to gain. Imagine the blessings of finally cracking the genetic code, extending human life by decades, and dramatically reducing the ravages of old age. Imagine healthcare tailored to each individual's genetic composition and predictive medicine that prevents diseases long before they occur. Imagine robots helping to care for the elderly. Imagine the end of traffic jams with self-driving vehicles on the ground, below the ground, and in the air. Imagine personalized education that cultivates each person's full potential throughout their lifetime. Imagine a world with boundless clean energy and natural resources for all nations. Imagine precision agriculture and automated factories that yield food and goods in an abundance that ends hunger and want. I know this sounds like a John Lennon song, but it could all happen. Imagine that we could achieve the end of scarcity, something that eluded humanity for all history. It's all within our reach. And here's something else within our reach. With AI, we can explore the heavens as never before and extend humanity beyond our blue planet. For good or bad.
What's scary about this is people, including the Prime Minister of Israel, are talking about assuming the role of God in many ways. Folks, look, if I wasn't a believer, this would be just absolutely scary stuff. But because I am a believer and I know exactly what to expect in the last days, it's not a surprise, but holy smokes, listen to him.
The developments of AI will be spearheaded by a handful of nations, and my country, Israel, is already among them. Just as Israel's technological revolution provided the world with breathtaking innovations, I'm confident that AI developed by Israel will once again help all humanity. I call upon world leaders to come together to shape the great changes before us, but to do so in a responsible and ethical way. Our goal must be to ensure that AI brings more freedom and not less, prevents wars instead of starting them, and ensures that people live longer, healthier, more productive, and peaceful lives. It's within our reach. And as we harness the powers of AI, let us always remember the irreplaceable value of human intuition and wisdom. Let us cherish and preserve the human capacity for empathy, which no machine can replace. Thousands of years ago, Moses presented the children of Israel with a timeless and universal choice. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. May we choose wisely between the curse and the blessing that stand before us this day. Let us harness our resolve and our courage to stop the curse of a nuclear Iran and roll back its fanaticism and aggression. Let us bring forth the blessings of a new Middle East that will transform lands once ridden with conflict and chaos into fields of prosperity and peace. And may we avoid the perils of AI by combining the forces of human and machine intelligence to usher in a brilliant future for our world in our time and for all time. Thank you.
All right. I'm just going to simply say this. The world is changing, and it's changing rapidly, folks. The Bible tells us what to be expecting in the last days. We know it. We are here. The nation of Israel has been reestablished. Israel is becoming the focal point of all things technology, agriculture. You have a series of normalizations that are being applauded. Saudi Arabia normalizing with Israel is at the whole center of everybody's attention, and people are wanting it to happen. They're looking at the economic prosperity. We are looking at everything being laid down to see what's going to happen in the tribulation take place. Folks, it's all about to happen. I don't know when. It could be a few months from now, could be several years from now. I just don't know. But what I do know is that we are called by God to be ready. We are called by God to stand up, to fight the good fight, to stand up for righteousness, to pay attention to the things that are going on. Why? Because Christ could come at any moment. I hope this is an eye-opening moment for you guys, because this stuff is unbelievable. It's powerful, it's impacting, and it should wake us up. God bless you guys. Keep mindful of what's important, because the main thing, being the main thing, is the thing that matters for our salvation and our responsibility before God to do what he's called us to. Look to the Lord, you guys. We're running out of time. God bless you.